now dominating in year 6 of his professional playing career. Joining us from the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor. Good to see you, sir.
All right.
How are you?
How are you, Rich?
I'm doing fine. Was that correct, right? At the banks of the Delaware River, Salem, New Jersey?
You are right.
Okay.
We are exit 1. You can't go any further south.
Exit 1.
We're talking Delaware Water Gap. Is that what we're talking about, Jonathan? Exit 1 of the Turnpike?
Exit 1.
Oh, my goodness. I was exit 13, Staten Island, New York. Just 12.
Wow.
You and I are 12 exits apart, and then in terms of Turnpike, and then in terms of athletic ability, just much larger than that. But good to see you, Jonathan. Good to see you. 2-0 for the first time since I think you were in the 5th grade, the Indianapolis Colts are. You were 10 years old the last time that happened. What's it like to walk around this building 2-0 for the first time, Jonathan?
It's definitely a great feeling to get off to a fast start. I mean, everybody wants to get off to a fast start, but then that's where the challenge comes in. How can you sustain that? How can you continue to get better each and every single week? But that's something that we look forward to. That's something that we're looking forward to attacking each and every single day that we go out there.
Now, I'm sure you were having that approach when you weren't 2-0. But the fact that you are 2-0, I mean, wearing that in practice, what feeling, and listen, and you aren't hanging any banners, but it must add some sort of a confidence level to the team, right, Jonathan? No?
It definitely does when you know that the work that you've put in individually in the offseason and then coming together throughout training camp to put together a good product on the field, that what you've been doing has been paying off. And what you guys are creating is something special. But the great teams, the elite teams, they continue to do it week in and week out.
Right. And obviously, you want to prove that the 2-0 isn't fugazi, for the lack of a better phrase. What is it like having Daniel Jones running this offense right now, Jonathan?
I think he's very smart, especially just coming in, learning the system, but then being able to apply it quickly on the field at a high level. And sometimes you see quarterbacks come into new systems, and of course, it takes a little bit to kind of get everything going, knowing the checks, knowing how to operate and use that system. But I think he's got a really good grasp on the system early, and you've been able to see him execute that on the field, which has been really nice.
Can you give me an example of that?
Definitely, especially looking at some of our previous games, if you have a certain check, someone's bringing blitz 0, being able to get us out of our call into our correct blitz 0 check. I mean, some of those things, you got to be able to have those tools in order to be successful, because a lot of defenses will throw a lot of different things at offenses, especially when they're rolling. So you have to be prepared for those things.
What about checking into a play that's benefited you? Is there one in particular you've had?
We've had multiple runs so far that he's checked into that have gone for positive gains, and then after we get into the check, then it's on us. It's on us as offensive line and running backs, the receivers, in order to go out and execute that play.
What's it like to hear a play checked into you? What's going through your skull when you hear that? Like, okay, like what are we talking about?
Well, definitely, we're checking to it because we feel as though we have an advantageous look. So at the end of the day, that it should be a beneficial play. It should be a positive play, but then you just want to make sure, what are my alignments? What are my assignments? What are my keys on this play in order to make sure it's a successful play?
Come on now. You're being modest. Do you sit there and go, I'm gonna shred this thing right now?
Well, you're always looking to score. You always want to score. You always want to score, but you just have to calm down sometimes and just make sure, hey, what are all of my keys? What are all of my reads on this play? Because, you get too happy, you get too excited, and then you start losing the little details.
How are you better now than you were your first year, Jonathan? Walk me through that.
I'm definitely being more patient and efficient. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of times where you get plays checked to you. There are a lot of times where you see a look, and we don't have to check to it. We get the look that we want, and you kind of, in your mind, you're smiling ear to ear, and then that's when you kind of lose the details, because you just think, oh, this play is going to score. I'm going to score a touchdown, but that's not how it's designed. It's designed for you to score a touchdown if you remember all of your keys and all of your reads on the play. So just like everybody wants the ball, but when it's time to get the ball, can you hone in and focus on the details? Because there's another person across from you trying to stop you. So what's going to help you is your training and all of the practice that you put in throughout the week. So definitely being more patient and understanding that, hey, let me just hone in on all the little details in order to make sure this is an efficient play. And then if you get to that point in the play where now it's time for your athleticism and things like that to take over, go and make a play.
Do you wear a chip on your shoulder that you weren't drafted in the first round?
Of course, you always feel as though you think you've put together a great body of work in college. And obviously we know at that time how they viewed running backs, and they felt as though across the league that You may not need an elite running back to kind of project the team into the positive direction, but you just think you put together a good body of work. So you just want to not only prove people wrong, but you want to prove the team that did right.
Draft when I heard your name called in the second round by the Colts, and I thought to myself two things. One, the Colts got themselves a winner, and they were lucky to get him in the second round. The other one was like, oh, thank God he's out of the Big Ten. That's what I thought. But, that's just my own personal issues with
I
watching
got a
him.
lot of that. I got a lot of that. A lot of people are happy I'm not
Oh,
in the Big Ten.
yeah, for sure. But I guess kind of the reason why I'm bringing all this up is just to be current. We saw Ashton Genty on Monday Night Football and taken off the field on third down, not part of 2-minute drills. The conversation in Vegas is you drafted him so high. Why is he not getting some touches already in week number 2? And I'm wondering how that would land, not to turn you into an analyst, but you obviously have a body of work here now in year 6. What would you say about the difficulty of going from, big man on campus, Heisman Trophy type guy to the NFL, Jonathan?
It's definitely a transition. I mean, you talk about, obviously playing in a big conference, a tough conference, but now you're playing with the best among the best. And being able to not only transition to that type of physical transition, it's a mental aspect as well. Now you're going against elite defenses with elite players. So schemes change as well as offenses. Now you're learning more intricate details with offenses in order to handle these different defenses. So it's a lot to be thrown at a person, especially when you transition from being the guy to now trying to work your way into being a guy for your new current team. And it's going to take reps. It's only week 2. It's going to take reps, and eventually, it'll come and it'll click as you continue to study, as you continue to get those reps on the field. But it's definitely a transition. But you have to be mentally disciplined in order to kind of fight that learning curve.
And then just to cycle back to how we started this conversation about having a chip about not being drafted in the first round, Jonathan Taylor, you said back then there was a way that running backs were viewed in the NFL, that you don't really need an elite back in order to win. Do you feel it's now different? Do you feel you are part of a cadre of running backs that have changed the way the position is viewed in the
I
NFL?
do feel as though that we've been able to continue to push that narrative out of the window. Not only myself, but other elite guys, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, guys who have been able to push that narrative out of the window and still put together great bodies of work. But then there's still another younger generation who's going to take it to an even higher level. Guys like Bijan, guys like Jameer Gibbs. So I think that there's still work to be done,
Mm.
but it's all going to be based on how we play on the field and how we go and show the world what the position that a running back can do and how that can put your team in a great position.
Well, I mean, speaking of Big Ten guys coming to the team and balling out, Tyler Warren's had 155 receiving yards in his first 2 career games, which breaks the Colts franchise record set by T.Y. Hilton back in his rookie season, more than Marvin Harrison as well. What are you seeing out of him, Jonathan?
I tell a lot of people this, like I mentioned, it's just a learning curve when you get into the NFL, and they'll expect rookies to kind of have a mistake here or there, a mental error, scheme things, schematic things. But what I noticed during training camp was he had very, very few of those. And I think that's the biggest thing is getting the mental aspect. So for him to already be ahead of that learning curve, now he's just has to continue to get better and better and better, and not so much as worry, what do I have to do? What is my assignment? And I think that's huge. And I think that, just coming in and being, pro ready like he was, he'll continue to get better. But I think he's been awesome so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he continues to grow.
And Daniel Jones appears to be looking for him too, right? I mean, it just seems to be clicking, man, for a guy that in Jones who comes in, and obviously we know about the quarterback competition and how it played out and what was going on. And to go 2-0 and how this offense has performed with the defense balling out as well. I'm just wondering what leadership Daniel Jones is bringing to the table that might be followed right now, Jonathan.
And definitely one thing with Daniel, he's been around for a minute. So having that in the room, and like I mentioned, probably also played into him coming in and being able to grasp the playbook and the scheme very quickly. But him being able to go out there and lead a team, I mean, he's had years where he's led a team into the playoffs. So being able to have a person at the helm that has been there, that's done that. I mean, it just reminds me back when, we had Phillip Rivers, and I get flashbacks because I see the number and I'm like, I get
Mm.
flashbacks. Not to say that he's, at that stage in his career that old, but at the end of the day, he's been there, he's done that, he's been around. So being able to kind of, take the helm inside of the huddle and then us around him, being able to help him, being in our correct spots, making those plays that we need to make. And I think that if we continue to grow and build this chemistry, that will be pretty tough to stop.
The ownership, as we all know, Jim Irsay, who I adored, passed away, and what an emotional week one it was to see his name go in that ring. I wasn't there. I can only imagine what it was like. And, Carly Irsay Gordon is on the sideline with a headset taking notes. Have you gone up to her after you've scored and just said to her, hey, mark that one down and, put a plus next to it, put a star next to it. Can we keep running this thing? Have you said something like that to her? Jonathan?
I would hope after a touchdown play she put a plus down, but
Mhm.
I think it shows her character. I think it shows her commitment to, hey, I'm going to know everything inside and out of this building. And it's the type of dedication that her father had, that Mr. Ursay had. And I just think it's beautiful to see the transition has been so seamless and that they've been preparing for this to kind of being able to take the helm, and it's interesting to see that she's so committed, but not only committed, but she's so fascinated with actually learning as much as she can about the game of football. Of course, she already knew a bunch about the game, but she wants to know everything in and out with the scheme. So I think when you have an owner on that level, I mean, it just shows the level of dedication and commitment with the Ursay family.
Do you know if anything is done with this information other than to make a transition more seamless and more of an understanding of what's going on? Does she have a conversation with anybody else about this information? Best you can tell, Jonathan?
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't know all of the conversations that she has. Those
Okay,
are those are high level
I got it.
conversations.
Understood.
Those are above me. But
Okay,
whatever
just
it
let you.
is, I do know that they're doing everything in their power to make sure this organization is going in the right direction and continuing her father's and the Ursay family's legacy.
All right, so then let's finish this interview with things you can control. Two things. First of all, your game. Are you aware of how many 200 or more scrimmage yard games you've had in your career and with whom you're in a company with in the Indianapolis Colts and Baltimore Colts organization? Are you aware of this, Jonathan?
Not,
Okay.
not, not. No.
All right. You just came up with your fifth career one. The only one in the history of the Colts with more is Edgerrin James. He's got one more. Lenny Moore and Marshall Faulk, another famous 2-8, have four. You just passed. You just broke a tie with them. The other three guys are in the Hall of Fame. How does that hit you when you hear that, Jonathan?
It's definitely very encouraging to know that the path that some of these other greats have walked, that I'm able to be in that shadow. But it also lets me know that there's still more work to be done,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't just stop there. They kept going. They found a way to keep getting better. So it kind of gives you that hunger to say, what else can I do? How can I get better? What can I do today to make me 1% better? Because I know that's how they got in that position that they're in. And of course, every person on that field wants to be the best football player that they can be. They want to be the best football player on the field. And the only way to do that is to try to have that battle with yourself and win of getting better each and every single day.
Do you have these individual goals, though? Do you have any?
Definitely.
Okay. And where do you store these? Are they written somewhere?
No, I mean, I don't write my goals down
Okay.
because it's with me all the time. It's almost like whatever your goal is, every single thing that you do each and every single day
Mm-hmm.
should be a reflection of you trying to obtain that goal. So it never leaves my mind. It never leaves my mind. I know some people write it down, which is great. Visualization is awesome. But for me, it stays with me 24/7. Everything I do every day, I say, is this going to help me get closer or further away from my goals?
Okay, so it never leaves your mind. Does it ever leave your mouth to anyone on planet Earth, Jonathan?
Of course, all of the time.
Who? To
All of
who?
the time.
Who do you tell your individual goals to?
I tell everybody my individual goals,
How
but
about
I'm
me?
sure a
How
lot
about
of
me?
other
How
people
about
have the
me?
same
How about
goals.
me? How about me on live Disney Plus, ESPN app, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM? What about that? How about me? Can
Look,
you
I
tell
have
me?
no problem, Rich. I have no problem at all. Look,
What
we'll
are your
give it to you.
individual goals? Give me your individual
We'll
goals
give it
then.
to you.
Okay.
So of course, throughout high school, throughout college, I've been able to just play in some really, really fun games, some really, really big games, but I've
Okay.
never been able to become a champion. So my number one individual goal, which is also probably a lot of other people's goals, is I
Yeah.
want to become a Super Bowl champion.
Yes, right. That makes sense. But that's also a team goal. I'm talking about what, 2,000 yards? Did you see Saquon and go, I want one of them? All-purpose records. What about that? What about those sorts of things?
But then if you get 2,000 yards and you don't win the Super Bowl, then you're like, man, I would definitely trade for a Super Bowl, which is awesome though because Saquon got both.
That's he
So
did.
kudos to him. That is actually awesome.
He
So he
did.
got both.
Yeah, he kind of did both. So okay, all right. So I'm just Hall of Fame. What about that? That sort of stuff. I just mentioned you with other Hall of Famers.
That would be a dream come true. That would be amazing. But it doesn't stop with just wanting to be in the Hall of Fame. What you have to do is you have to show that you're an elite player, a consistent player year in and year out. Some of those names that you mentioned just a few minutes ago, they showcase that every single year, every single game, every single day. And that's what I have to continue to chase here while I'm here in Indianapolis.
All right. Before I let you go, I have an individual goal that you can help me with, Jonathan.
Okay.
Okay. This nickname of Danny Dimes. That's a monetary amount that is not valuable enough by the way he's playing. You understand what I'm saying? Like dimes. Come on now. All right. I understand it's in reference to throwing dimes. I get it. But at the end of the day, and I know Indiana Jones is a new nickname for him. That's great. It can't be better than that. So what I'm about to say isn't better. It's to reconfigure the Danny Dimes. So if he keeps playing like this, how about Danny Diamonds, Jonathan? What do you think about
Danny Diamonds?
Okay.
Danny Diamonds. We might have to actually get some diamonds to put on him. I mean, I know you've seen the video with Kirk Cousins around, and
Yes.
we might have to get some diamonds for Danny. Then.
See, now this is why you are who you are. You have great field vision. You know what I mean? Like that was great. That was great. You saw the hole and you just hit it, but then you moved to score. That's why I'm telling you about it, because now if he keeps playing this way, he scores a touchdown or whatever, diamonds on him. He's Danny Diamonds. Let's go.
I'll run it by him. And I'll let you know.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Taylor. That's all I ask. It's very simple. That's all I ask. Thanks for the time, man. Keep balling out. Really appreciate it.